Today I'm going to show you how to paint this modern abstract piece in Procreate. I am using default Procreate brushes. I am also using some overlay brushes that I'll talk to you about from Uproot, and I am using a free brush that I have available to my newsletter subscribers. Let's get into it. So I have my canvas open. Right now I am working in a 4000 by 5000 pixel canvas at 600 DPI, and my layers here I have set up and organized. I am going to start by adding a texture overlay. Now you can use a paper texture or any texture overlay that you want. The ones I am going to be using and showing you how to use today are from the Uproot Brushes Overlay Brushes pack, which is a massive pack of a bunch of really cool overlay brushes that use blend modes and dual color settings to add depth and texture to the canvas. So to use these, the first thing you have to do is set up your dual colors. So your primary color, which is the left color, you set to black, and then your secondary color, you'll set to white. And then you'll want to make sure that you click back into your primary color. And then with these brushes, the preview of these is not going to show the texture. So you have to play around and familiarize yourself with these brushes. So I am on my overlay layer and I have my brush opacity set at 100% and my brush size set to 100%. And right now my blend mode is still normal. So you can see what it looks like. I've selected the Very Good General Overlay brush, and with one single stroke, I'm painting over the entire canvas. The next step, you can change up the opacity. I like this one to be kept at about 85. And then you'll want to change the blend mode to overlay. So now you can't see anything, but because this is a blend mode, the texture will pass through anything we paint on these layers. And it'll also show up in our next step, which is to change the background color. So I'm selecting the background color. The palette that I am using is my July Vibes palette, which is my monthly color palette that I send out to my newsletter subscribers. So if you want this, you can sign up following the link in the description. For this painting, I'm going to choose this creamy color. And automatically you can see a very faint texture shows up through the color in the background. Moving on to my orb layer, I'm going to select this peachy pink color, and now I'm going to switch into the calligraphy panel, and I am going to use the monoline brush. And I am drawing a large circle, and without lifting up my pencil, I'm going to tap a finger to the screen to make a perfect circle, and then release, and then in the option that pops up, I'm going to tap Edit Shape, keep it on circle, but by tapping outside of the shape, I can move it around, resize it. Then I'm going to use Color Drop to fill this. Now I'm going to tap my orb layer to bring up this menu and tap Select. And then in my Orb Glow layer, I'm going to switch to a solid white, and I'm filling that completely. And then I'm deselecting, going into the Adjustments panel, and then I'm tapping the Gaussian Blur option. And then I'm sliding my pencil across the screen to adjust this. And then I'm going to switch that to Add. And now I'm going to select both of these and reduce the size. To do this, I'm making sure that my selection tool is on uniform and that I have magnetic set so that it will snap into place and snap into the center as I move it there. And then I'm also going to reduce the glow layer a bit and position it slightly off center so it almost looks like an eclipse. Next, in my inking panel, I'm going to be sketching this out with the dry ink brush, and I'll be using this dark gray. Moving on to my sketch layer, I'm going to sketch out a branch and some leaves. I like to erase any overlaps right away when I'm drawing leaves with this technique. Once I've finished my sketch, I'm going to reduce the opacity to about 50%, and then I am working on my greenery layer. For this layer, I am selecting this teal color, and in the calligraphy panel, again, I will be using the script brush. For this, I have the size set at about 25%. Now I can delete my sketch layer, add in a new layer because I forgot to do this. I'm going to rename this one. And for this part of the project, I'm going to set my greenery layer as a reference, which will allow me to fill in my leaves on this separate layer. I'm filling the leaves with this mid-teal bluish color, and I'm going to color drop to fill in. Still on my fill layer, I'm going to tap my arrow here and move it slightly off to give it this off-register look. Now I am going to go into the needle layer and add some detail lines on the leaves. You can use the same brush that we used, the script brush, or you can download this free brush that I have available for my subscribers for a limited time. It's this needle brush inspired by tattoo techniques. I had a tattoo artist reach out to me requesting this brush, and it's pressure sensitive. I'm going to show you my pressure curve. In case you aren't finding that you're getting the results that I'm showing on the screen, you go into this wrench and tap edit pressure curve. You can see I have mine set so this axis is towards more responsive and more sensitive to pressure. And so you can replicate this or play around and see what works for you. But basically I have adjusted it so that all of the brushes that I use respond to pressure more easily. So for this, my brush size is set to about 20%. And starting at the center of each leaf, I'm using more pressure at the start of the stroke, and then as I work my way out towards the side, I am trying to lift up my brush stroke slightly to get these series of dots. I'm not terribly concerned about the strokes all looking the same as far as what is a straight line and what is a series of dots, but I am trying to consistently space my lines. And that's it. Thank you so much for watching. Feel free to subscribe for more. I put out new videos every week. Thank you for watching and sticking through to the end. I'll see you guys in the next one.